Monday morning, it's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world after the weekend. A lot of festivities happening over there in the Middle East, which there's some big fears of the market opening really down today, or really bad today, I guess I could say. But that's kind of settled out here overnight as well, and we'll get you updated on that here. Just a couple minutes, but of course, we get you updated on the market watch, stocks we're paying attention to, plus all your local and national stories that you need to know as well. And hey, it's Monday morning, weekend's over. Let's get into it with that market watch. And look at this, even with all that news I just told you, this morning Iran did announce end of military operations against Israel. But they did warn of potential escalation if anybody responds or retaliates out there as well. Oil prices are easing after Iran says military operations against Israel are officially over. So some big news here. Markets are responding well here this morning. Dow Jones right now is up 317 points to 51,070. The S&P 500 is up 75 points here today. 74.32 as the whole market is up, including NASDAQ 475 points up right now for the NASDAQ, 29,493, and then the Russell 2K is up 48 points this morning. That small cap index is at 2865 right now. Bitcoin, well, I'm not going to call it a rebound, but it is up this morning, 63,606 right now. For Bitcoin, as that has been selling down here over the last week, kind of finding a settling point here at the 63,000 level, especially over the weekend. But we'll see. Does it keep going down? Is this the bottom of this sell-off? It'll start going back up. Well, we'll have to pay attention to that and keep our eyes on it moving forward. And the big thing on stocks today, the chip makers are rebounding here. So we're going to start off and look at NVIDIA first here as well. NVIDIA announced a partnership with South Korean tech giant SK Hynix. It's advanced memory for its AI factory build-out. Well, NVIDIA is up 1.51% here today as well. Now, that's the first one we're looking at. Later on the show, we'll go back and look at Micron Technology, Broadcom, and Advanced Micro Devices, which, of course, is AMD. We'll look at those stocks after huge sell-offs last week, Thursday and Friday. So we'll take a look at those later on in the programs. For next up, we're going to look at Marvell Technology out there. They're up big today, 7.62% right now as well. Well, it was announced that Marvell Technology and a company called Flex, go ahead and throw Flex stock up there for us as well. These two companies will be joining the S&P 500. Flex is up 0.68% here today as well. They're replacing Campbell's, which, of course, Campbell's moved that stock, different stock company. And then Pool Corp, both leaving the S&P 500. So Flex and Marvell Technology taking their spots, both up today based off of that news as well. So later on, I told you we're going to look at Micron, Broadcom, and Advanced Micro Devices stocks. We're also going to pay attention to Honeywell, as we are getting closer to that Honeywell Aerospace spinoff officially happening. So we'll look at that here coming up later in the program as well. So chip makers rebounding today. Iran halts those Israel attacks that happened. Started, I believe, Saturday night, our time, early Sunday morning. And so that is driving the industry or the markets up here early this morning. And now let's get into some national stories that you need to know. A lot of economic news out there. Here's an interesting one that, I guess you could kind of guess it was going to happen at some point with the news out there, but it is official. Texas has dethroned California as the nation's premier hub for Fortune 500 companies. So the 2026 Fortune 500 list, well, that data, it shows Texas leading 57 headquarters officially now. California has 56 Fortune 500 companies based out of California. So beating it by one there. This is a reversal from 2 years ago. California has had that lead there for the last couple of years. Then corporations in Texas generated $2.8 trillion in revenue. Those in California did $2.7 trillion in revenue. For the past year alone, companies, as you know, we've told you about these, right? ExxonMobil, Chevron, Samsung, SpaceX, and X. Well, they've all moved their headquarters from their legal incorporation uh, over to Texas from California. Now, a couple did come over from New Jersey, right? I think ExxonMobil moved theirs last or recently. We told you about that from New Jersey over to Texas. So not all of them from California, but majority of them are. Company relocations have also been accompanied by billionaires and even public figures with a lot of money moving their homes and personal folios to Texas. Most recently, Uber co-founder Travis Kalanick, he revealed his move to Austin. Elon Musk, of course, is already there. Mark Cuban, Palantir co-founder Joe Lonsdale, David Sachs, they've moved to Texas as well in recent years. And a lot of this is due to the corporate or the tax structure there, including the threat of this 5% one time billionaires tax that California is wanting to put into place. They have enough signatures to get that to pass or at least get onto the ballot as well um, there in California. So we are seeing numbers showing. You listen to the politicians of California, they say, we're not losing anything. It's okay. We're good. We're still the leader. Stats are saying otherwise moving forward as well. And we've told you this before. When Walmart speaks, you pay attention, especially when it comes around the economy and what they're planning to do. A couple of weeks ago, we told you Walmart was signaling that they might not be eating price hikes anymore, right? They're going to do more price hikes to the consumer to eat some of those costs rising. And once Walmart signals that, you start to see other retailers starting to bargain for that as well. And now Walmart CEO, his name's John Furner, he came out last week and said rising fuel costs are placing increased pressure on consumers. Lower income households, well, they're showing growing signs of financial strains. So he spoke to reporters during Walmart Shareholder Week last week over there in Arkansas. He said the retailer continues to attract higher income shoppers. They're visiting stores more frequently and spending more when they're in there. Then at the same time, Walmart's seeing evidence that lower income customers are becoming more cautious with their spending. One indicator, well, it comes from Sam's Club. According to the CEO, Sam's Club members are averaging about 9.8 gallons per fuel purchase, filling up more often on top of it, which suggests shoppers are managing their budgets as gas prices remain elevated. So 9.8 gallons, a lot of cars are bigger than that, right? So that it just indicates they're filling up more often, which means they're not letting their tank go all the way to empty before they fill up. So he says that's the press stress point. Yeah, the price of fuel. I think a lot of us knew that, but when, like I said, when Walmart as the biggest, retailer out there kind of starts speaking about what they're seeing, you better pay attention as well when they do talk. And we just talked about Sam's Club, so let's talk about Costco here as well. By the way, Walmart, they've lowered pricing on 2,700 plus products over the last month or so. Just quietly did it. Now, Costco, they're also quietly lowering prices on several popular Kirkland signature items. And some products shoppers have been completely complaining about online recently about increasingly being expensive. During the company's most recent earning call here at the end of the month of May, the executive said the price cuts impacted at least four of its key private label items. So, looking to give consumers relief as the inflation continues to remain elevated and affect the consumers out there. The affected products saw price reductions ranging from about to $10 across categories. That the categories included food, home goods, sporting equipment out there as well. So, for instance, the KS crispy wings they fell from $16.99 to $14.99. Kirkland milk chocolate almonds, which is the one everybody's knocking for being way too expensive. They dropped from $19.99 to $18.99 as well. The Kirkland Series golf balls, well, $32.99 down to $29.99. It's funny. I was at Costco about a week ago, and I saw the golf balls. They were They were right there in front, showing those off as well. King size sheets from Kirkland, they were reduced from 89.99 to 79.99. Just as some examples out there. Of course, Costco said the decision was aimed at offering members maximum value while continuing to undercut competitors. It's all part of its broader pricing strategy out there. They want to be the first to lower prices. They want to be the last to raise them. It's kind of their policy out there as well. So Costco, Walmart lowering 2,700 products. Costco lowering some of their Kirkland series pricing as well, and paying attention to which ones social media is contending. People are complaining about are too high priced out there as well, and they're lowering those specific ones. It seems they're paying attention at least to the complaints out there. Now let's go to New York, right? Tony Awards are out, and we find out that Broadway just wrapped up its highest grossing season there in New York. Highest grossing season on record. So another sign that consumers are willing to spend on experiences, even though we all have the concerns about inflation and economic uncertainty out there in the market. So the 2025-26 show season, it topped the prior year's record, and it generated about $1.91 billion in ticket sales. We get this from industry data, and the Broadway League is the one that gave us that total. Adjusting for the extra week that was included in the prior season, Broadway grosses this year rose 3.5%. Attendance increased 1.8%, and the average ticket prices climbed 1.7%. While consumers have pulled back in some discretionary categories, live entertainment, it continues to be remarkably strong, right? I know some concerts are being canceled with that Blue Dot fever, but a lot of them still going on as well. Sporting events are way up, and even theater, right? We're looking for tickets for the NHL final there in Las Vegas. Saturday night was a game. I was like, oh, I can get up there for a Saturday night game. Prices are through the roof for that as well. So the demand is still there for these events. And I don't know if it's changing anytime soon as well. The New York Fed's Beige Book, we talked about the Beige Book last week as well. Well, it has made explicit mentions of Broadway nearly a dozen times over the last 2 decades as an economic indicator. Back in April, which is the last one we just talked about, I think last week, they said then ticket sales remained strong in the Broadway category. The average Broadway ticket costs $131 this season. Check out these prices. For a family of 4 attending a musical, tickets alone can obviously exceed $500. That's before accounting for how you get there, right? Transportation, food, the other expenses you have going to a Broadway event. In many cases, premium seats obviously cost a lot more. At these higher rates, the total expenses are actually starting to rival a one-day trip to Disney World for a family of 4. For a 3-hour, 4-hour play, you go to Disneyland all day for that pricing. Disney World for that pricing as well. So Broadway, not cheap, but people still spending on that money. And those numbers come, by the way, before the Tony Awards have happened. And generally, the award-winning shows get a big bump in ticket sales after the Tony Awards as well. So we're going to see some more money, at least in terms of people going to the Broadway as well. So just another example of this economy where some things are pulling back, some things going strong. I threw in a couple local stories here before the break and just little short ones for you. But FedEx, they're laying off 101 workers and shuttering their operations over at a Phoenix facility. It's all part of the major company-wide switch to streamline its shipment processes. So FedEx filed a warn notice as well to the Arizona Department of Economic Security on June 2nd. This is the facility over at 43rd Avenue. FedEx is closing that facility, issuing layoffs for workers. The employees were made aware of the changes several months ago, so they've had time to adjust as well. Some employees will be offered other roles within the company. Others, well, they'll be given job placement assistance, relocation aid, or even a severance package if they do not stay with the company. FedEx launched a network transformation strategy in 2022 to simplify service with a one van, one neighborhood model. So they called it the Network 2.0 strategy. That's original. Since starting the initiative, it's closed more than 200 facilities. And now a Phoenix facility has been closed as well, or being closed due to this process coming up. And there's also a new Arizona law, right? We talk about housing here. One reason housing is so expensive is the interest rates, lack of people selling their current homes and not having enough homes, right? So they're trying to tackle this through a new Arizona law. It aims to cut down on unnecessary delays in the licensing process for those single family homes. So this was Senate Bill 1566. And I say was because the governor's actually signed this already. Municipalities and counties must have set timeframes for issuing licenses or those building permits for home constructions. If municipalities or counties are found to be intentionally obstructing the approval of licenses or even creating delays out of malice, they will face a $5,000 penalty enforced by the Attorney General's office. So, the Pacific Legal Foundation came out with, a couple of comments on this. They work on property rights issues nationwide. They told that committee that did the bill, better enforcement of permitting timeframes would keep prices lower, right? What they mean is the municipality can sit on a permit request instead of just a few weeks, let's say a month, just throw out an easy time frame, and they sit on it for 3 to 4 months. That drives prices up, of course, as they sit there and wait for the approval processes out there. Obviously, several Arizona municipalities opposed the bill. Most Democrats in the House and Senate voted against it as well, because, why? Why not? Governor Katie Hobbs did sign the bill into law. It's set to take effect on the general effective date, which will be, sometime in September probably, coming up as well. And yeah, the faster you get the permits out, cheaper things get built out there as well. So trying to improve house building and getting them out there here in Arizona, specifically Phoenix, where we have a housing crisis going on for a lot of reasons out there as well. Hey, we snuck a couple local stories in there before the break, but I got more coming your way, folks. So we got that. We'll look at the market watch. We'll pay attention to those chip stocks that we paid attention to at the end of last week that were just tanking. We'll look at them today as well. They're improved, folks, here. For those of you that have the tech stocks or the chip makers in your portfolios. So coming back, it's McCollum on Business, Monday edition. And we're back here, McCollum on Business, having some fun here on, of course, this Monday morning. And look, not a bad. I was sitting there yesterday going, man, the markets are not going to be good tomorrow. Of course, after the Iran attacking Israel and some festivities happening there in the Middle East, but that has settled down here this morning. And as you just saw there, you saw the ad there for the Real Matrix. Don't forget, Fridays at noon. So Last week episode is part 2 of a Charlie Kirk series that they have there as well. The Angry Patriot just wants you to come into the show with an open mind, make your own decisions out there. Of course, you can find that show Fridays at noon, not only on Rumble, rumble.com/user/TME media. You can also find it on the free podcast systems. Just search The Real Matrix Angry Patriot. It pops right up for you. Catch that. New episodes every Friday at noon. Of course, all of our programming is over at Rumble. Everything is on demand over there, from this show to the main event to the pit stop, the Real Matrix, plus some other things we have testing out and coming your way for some short shows out there. They're available also there on Rumble, but also over on YouTube as well. TME Media AZ is where you can find our YouTube page. Don't forget to follow TME Media AZ on X as well, if you would. That's just the parent company of all of our production that we do here. Live, this show, 7 a.m. here on YouTube. Of course, the main event also live. They're on YouTube as well, TME Media AZ. And then, of course, everything's on demand there as well, except for The Real Matrix. You got to find that over at Rumble. But everything's posted. So as soon as we're done here, up on demand there at YouTube. And then going right into the main event live, 8 to 10 a.m. with me and 17-year NFL veteran Del Hellestrae. And, of course, right after we're done there at 10 o'clock, up on demand on YouTube and Rumble as well. Make sure you like and subscribe to that YouTube page as we continue to grow the company and the production and the shows that we do here. Find something that you like and share us with your friends if you would. We'd greatly appreciate it out there. And folks, with all that being said, let's get right back into the Market Watch. And everything is gravy today. We'll just put it that way. Chip makers are rebounding. We're about to check into the ones that we checked into last week that were way down as well. Iran halts Israeli attacks. They do say there could be potential escalation if if the people retaliate, etc., to them out there. Oil prices are easing this morning after Iran says those military operations against Israel are over. And I was driving in today, and oil prices are falling. $4.29 over here around 44th Street in Oak, as we drove by a quick trip this morning, and out by my place, down to the mid $4 as well out there in the Far East Valley. So we're seeing some relief, although it's still high, some relief out there. Dow Jones is up 269 points this morning. S&P 500 is up 76 points as we're looking at it right now. The NASDAQ also way up 428 points for the NASDAQ as well. Then the Russell 2K, the small cap index, up 49 points as we're looking at the market this morning. Bitcoin, yes, it is up today, but we're hardly going to call it a rebound. It's trading at 63,831 here this morning for Bitcoin. That's been a big sell-off over the last week or so. Kind of comfortably fallen in the 63,000 range here over the weekend. Does this mean this is the bottom before it starts to at least trend back up over the next few weeks? Or is there some more drop-off underneath Bitcoin is the question to pay attention to. First stock we're going to look at here in this segment, Honeywell. Why are we looking at Honeywell? Well, they're down 0.31% today, which is nothing for Honeywell. But we're just looking at them. You see there's been a sell-off since the market opened about an hour ago as well. Did have a little bit of an upgrade. Pre-market, it was up. It did go up when it opened. Now a sell-off's occurring. But they've reaffirmed its 2026 outlook. Why is that important? Well, they're about to spin off that Honeywell Aerospace part of their business, which, of course, is going to be headquartered here in Arizona. And so they're about to spin that off. So everybody's paying attention to Honeywell right now as that spinoff is coming. Micron Technology is the first chip stock we're going to look at this morning. They're responding nice today, these chip stocks are. Micron Technology is up 7.36%. Broadcom is the next one we're going to pay attention to as well. Basically, everything's rebounding strongly after Thursday and Friday's absolute chip maker sell-off happening. Broadcom's up 1.93% today. And then Advanced Micro Devices, you hear them if you're searching for computers, is AMD. They're up 3.98% today as well. So they haven't got all their money back here this morning. NVIDIA, of course, we showed you early in the show, up as well. So they're not rebounding. Nvidia's up 1.91 as you see on the scroll there on your screen. So it's not like they're rebounded and got all their money back that they lost on Thursday and Friday, but at least going in the positive direction here today, which is a huge plus for these chip makers out there. And we got some more local stories coming for you here as we've already got a couple in, and those were one was good news, I guess, if we can get more homes built faster here. One not so good news with those FedEx shutting down one of the buildings over there at 43rd Avenue. And the U.S. Department of Agriculture, well, they've announced a new initiative to boost cotton production nationwide. How does that benefit Arizona cotton farmers is the big question. As we know, we have a large bunch of farmers here in Arizona. So the USDA's Great American Cotton Plan, it includes efforts to assist in pest research and farmer financial aid. It also helped increase cotton exports. Brazil did overtake America to the top cotton exporter in 2023 and has been there ever since. While initially a staple of Arizona's economy, cotton production has fallen drastically since its peak back in the 1970s. Trade prices are a big issue. They have fully dropped. Farming costs have risen in astronomical sides of it. So you're doing cotton for same price or a little bit less than you were in the 70s, 80s, but your costs are way higher as well. A cotton picker in the 1990s, the costs were $40,000. Today it's $1.3 million. So obviously, to be trading cotton at the same price as you were back in the decades ago, well, it doesn't make any sense to be a cotton farmer if your expenses are so high and you're selling it for the same amount back then. So the new plan, there's lots of hopes out there in Arizona that this new plan will help the farmers, but obviously there's a lot of cautious viewpoints as well. So, you know, exports need to be the biggest thing here for this growth to keep going moving forward. And I'm not sure how you can get that for the cotton and if it will actually return to where it needs to be is kind of the question mark that we do have out there as well. Well, we told you about this story before, and now we need to talk about, just as an update, because Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs did sign into law that bill that will regulate alternative nicotine products, things like vapes. The bill requires distributors to be authorized by the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control. Last week we told you about this bill. We didn't know at that time if the governor was going to sign it, and she has now. It also bans marketing vaping items to minors or even making them resemble cartoon characters or even a game. They kept the legislature, some members of the legislature kept talking about a vape that looked like a Slurpee cup, how it tasted like strawberries. That's one example they gave. Because even I was like, I'm not a vapor, and even I was like, ooh, Slurpee cup, strawberries. So, hey, folks, it works, right? The law carries tougher penalties for selling vapes or other alternative nicotine products to those under 21 years of old. So that is now in effect here as well, at least signed by the governor, I should say out there. And another update for you. Remember that Zips raids that happened last year sometime? Well, a kitchen manager at the center of the Zips Sports Grill immigration raids has officially been sentenced to 5 months in federal prison for his role in hiring those undocumented workers. Federal agents, if you remember, executed search warrants at 14 Zips restaurants in Phoenix back in January. It was just January of this year. Feels like so much longer ago. Yeah, this was all in response to a tip to ICE about undocumented workers being employed at those locations. So one of the people charged, Diego Gonzalez Rosales. He's a Mexican national unlawfully residing in the United States. He did plead guilty in March over the charges related to transferring, possessing, or using an identification to make a false statement, all part of the scheme to hire undocumented workers there at the Zips restaurants. According to court documents, he is expected to be deported here, sentenced to 5 months in prison. And the interesting thing about this is, I'll just say it here. I'll be the one that says it. You can't tell me the corporate structure of Zips wasn't aware. All I'm going to say. Hey, you White Castle fans out there, I am not among you. But I got to tell you here, if you're into it, or if you like what you don't want to go to White Castle because you just don't like their food's not for you, well, they now are coming out with a new slider, which might pique your interest here. As White Castle has officially said they're expanding their slider menu with the introduction of a vegetarian option, folks. So if you've always said, I want to try White Castle, but I don't eat meat, here you go. $2.49 is the price range here for this. It's a Southwestern veggie slider. It includes a patty made from 6 vegetables seasoned with chipotle and barbecue flavors, including sweet potatoes, black beans, corn, red bell peppers, onions, and a carrot. Yeah, does not sound good. All wrapped in a crispy brown rice coating. It's topped with a slice of jalapeno cheese. Customers can substitute cheddar or American cheese if your problem with this is the cheese, which it shouldn't be. According to White Castle, the Southwest Veggie Slider was fueled by consumer insights. They gathered a bunch of information from consumers during a test period conducted last summer. The Veggie Slider joins White Castle's existing lineup of those handheld sliders, those burgers. They include beef, chicken, fish options, and now a veggie burger there. Does that look appetizing to anybody? Like, seriously. Seriously. That's the question. Hmm. Robert chimes in there on the YouTube page. Don't forget, watch us live here on YouTube, TME Media AZ. He says mid fours in the Northwest Valley too. So we're starting to see gas prices hit those mid $4 ranges here around town. Like I said, 4.29 if you're in the 44th and Oak area, which is Oak is between McDowell and Thomas. That quick trip right there was 4.29 this morning. Mid fours out by where I am. Robert saying mid fours in the Northwest Valley. So get your Gas Buddy app up, or your Upside app up, or whatever you use there for gas prices, folks, and go find yourself a deal out there. And hopefully those gas prices keep sliding down. We would all, I think, greatly appreciate that as well. Hey, I appreciate you joining us here on this Monday morning of McCollum on Business. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. as well. And if you're so inclined, let me know how that veggie burger is over at White Castle. See you tomorrow, everyone.